All right. Hello and welcome to this session of the Sandwich Seminars. My name is Doyle Bueller, and I want to welcome you all this evening. And what we're going to go over today is what I call the Sandwich Seminar, for lack of a better name, but basically creating a blueprint or a strategy for your online business to help you build a transformation in your business online, because there's a lot of stuff going on with your business, and we want to help you focus it. We want to help you understand what it is, what we do, and how we do it, and that sort of thing. So that's kind of where we're taking it in terms of the importance of. Sorry, just excuse me for a sec. Just adjusting a few things here in terms of how we're doing it and wanting to help you along the way. So, if you have just a quick administrative stuff before we get into it. We've got, we'll probably be about 35 minutes or so, 30 to 35 minutes. And if you do have any questions, there's a chat box on the side that you can take a look at and ask any questions as we go along. And I'll try to address some of the questions, and making sure that if I don't, for whatever reason, you will have my email address at the end, so you can be able to cover it in the actual material. So good on you. Let's get started. So what I want to talk about is, like I said, the Sandwich Seminar, which is 7 simple steps to free your mind, build your customer desire, engage your audience passion online. And there's a lot of things in there, and I know it's kind of a sort of a motherly statement, but there's a lot of stuff that you can do, right? Online doesn't have to be so confusing. Online doesn't have to have so much clutter, but we got to kind of have some structure. We got to kind of understand what it is that we're looking for and how we're doing it. And these are the pieces that I want to tell you about this evening. So, who am I? Well, yes, I love sandwiches, but no, that's not me at the top. I'm the little guy on the left. So, what I wanted to get across to as well is that, there's a lot of businesses doing online, and what we're trying to find and what we're trying to help is building sort of that connection to what you do and how you do it. And one of the things that is really important is sort of defining this process and defining how we do it. And in this case, this is what is important. It's like, what do you know about sandwiches? And yes, that's a little bit of of fun and that sort of thing, but the principles are the same. So what have I been doing? Well, I've been working online since about 2002, 2003 with a couple of startups. We've received a number of awards over the years, in the last couple of years since I've been in Australia, helping sort of learning about the industry and seeing where the industry is going, and talking to a lot of different people, and seeing what's going on. And I actually received a Antil Innovation Award for the Smart 100 last year. Back in 2008, 2009, we were one of the fastest growing companies in Canada, which is quite exciting, and received some other innovation awards as well. So I've been involved in sort of the online industry since about 2002, 2003, where one of my startups moved towards the online e-commerce side. So since then, it's been quite a journey and quite a discovery, and finding out what works and what doesn't. And I'll get into an example pretty quick of what doesn't work, and an expensive one at that. So really, really important that we got to learn what it is that's important and find out what works and what doesn't. And that's hopefully the journey that I'm going to take you on this evening, is being able to do that and being able to set things up so that you can actually build something, and so that you can actually design something and sell something or get leads on your business and whatever it is else that you need. So and when it comes right down to it, right, like, let's be honest, we're kind of tired of the BS that's out there. I know I am. There's a lot of it, and it makes it very difficult to kind of see through what's going on and what's sort of fluff and what's just kind of a distraction and a confusion. And what this results in is that, because we don't really know what's good or bad, we don't have a lot of influence, right? We don't really understand what it is that we're doing to build influence, because we kind of don't really know the problem or the landscape, because there's all this, maybe it's like Las Vegas with all the the glitz and glitter of the signs, and you might go into one, but it's like a complete dive, right? But hey, it's got nice signs, and that sort of thing. So there's too much noise, there's too much clutter, and a heck of a lot of confusion online, and that's what we're trying to overcome here. Another thing that happens is because of this, we kind of think, oh, well, let's fly by the seat of our pants, which, hey, everybody's doing that, right? Isn't that what entrepreneurs are supposed to do? And the answer is no. If you take a look at sort of any of the high profile entrepreneurs, they really did have a structure. They really did have sort of a solution or a platform that they were able to work through. And that's really the key that helps businesses along is understanding what is their strategy, what is their blueprint, right? Not confusing the tools and different activities that you should or shouldn't have or whatever the case may be, because they've got their direction, right? They have their platform, and oh, okay, then they can plug in the tools, right? That's basically what we need to do, is get rid of all this bullshit that's out there, get rid of the crap. And it's a big journey, but somebody's got to do it, right? So, what does that leave us feeling like? Well, like in a lot of cases, some burnt toast, right? It gets pretty tiring. There's a lot to do and a lot to learn and a lot to understand. But what we've done here is, and I'm going to talk to you more into it, is creating this process and this framework that says, okay, we can do this if we follow these steps, right? If we go and do it sort of ad hoc, then yeah, we can get the job done, but it's probably not going to be done as well as if we had a system in place. No different than like a franchise system or whatever the case may be, right? It's a blueprint that works because you can look at it, you can see it, you can feel it. You can understand how it ties everything together, and that's super key, is following a specific process. The other thing is thinking that your audience actually cares, and you know what? They don't. And the sad reality is that's sort of how things go, is because people are constantly inundated with this clutter and confusion and misinformation and that sort of thing. You don't really know what's truth and what's not, and just nobody really cares. And so when you come along saying, hey, I can do this, it's like, yeah, okay, whatever. It doesn't really matter. So thinking that your audience really cares, is something that you need to overcome. And same here. I mean, I'm in the similar boat. It's like, as you build your audience, you see what happens and how you need to grow that different audience and find out what it is that actually attracts them. What do they care about? If they don't care about you, what can you kind of connect with them to allow them to care and allow them to understand what it is that you're trying to do and how you're trying to do it. And then that's where that so-called magic or that sweet spot occurs, is being able to navigate that. And then thinking everybody already knows about you and your business. And guess what? Again, no, sorry. Nobody knows you. Nobody knows your business. And they will tell you that. They will tell you that your business sucks, or they won't even sort of acknowledge that you exist. And that's sort of one of the problems that we're trying to overcome here is can you do this? Absolutely. Right? Will people acknowledge your business, you and your business? Yes, absolutely. But it does take some work, it takes some effort, and what we're trying to do is create that structure that allows them to do that. So just think of that in terms of how we build that. So imagine, if you were able to build your customer desire, right? Really build it so that people are looking for you, and understanding how to directly engage your audience passion as well. Imagine if you could do that. And the last one, free your mind, right? To work on your business, not in your business. And this is one of the things that I find a lot of entrepreneurs and small businesses get into, is they're so worried about the tools, they're so worried about the detail, that they don't actually see the bigger picture in terms of, okay, what is it that I'm trying to accomplish here? How is it that I need to get this job done? And by building a process, by building an infrastructure, you're actually able to free your mind, because you don't have to scatter from one place to the next and decide, okay, this is important, that's not. It's like, here is the steps. This is the process, right? This is what gets you going to the next step. So very, very important to be able to understand that and build that. And with that in mind, what is it that you want to accomplish with your business online? Right? So grab a pen and a paper or type whatever you want. Quickly write down 3 things, right? What do you want to accomplish with your business online? Okay? So quickly write those down. We all know that we want to make some more money, free some time, and you've obviously seen some advertisements about that. Become a millionaire in 24 hours, or have more free time so you can spend it at the beach. Blah blah blah. Right? Let's be realistic here. What it is that you're in business for a reason? What are those reasons? Okay. you know, how do you want to grow your business? Where do you want to take it? Who do you want to be customers? You know, who do you want to recognize you as you build your business? So be very, very focused. And again, it's just a fun little exercise to keep things going. So what are we going to find out today? Well, what kind of sandwich does your customer love? And the analogy here is, look, we all like to eat, we have to eat, and if you can deliver that sandwich that your customer loves, well, guess what? They're going to be buying it from you. So it's a fun little metaphor, but what that does is allow you to understand that transformation that you need for your business to be able to take it to the next level. Right? Can you deliver what your customer is looking for is what I'm trying to say. How to move beyond just the money and time paradox, right? Yes, money is important. Yes, time is important. But what do you do about that? How do you save money? How do you save time? Right? How do you actually do these things? What's holding you back as well? How you know, online, like I said, is very, very busy and very, very lots of things to consider. So what's holding you back? How, you know, and you've seen the success stories, right? How do they get there? What are they doing differently? And that's what I'm going to cover as well. How to build your blueprints, right? How to build this framework that says that, okay, this is what I need to be working on. This is what I'm going to be doing, and this is how I'm going to do it. So very, very important. And finally, how to create your recipe for success. And that comes down to a couple factors which I will present shortly. So before I get into that, this is sort of just one of a thing that I've found, you know, working in the business area for as an entrepreneur for, well, over a decade, that there's, you know, a lot of things that we can do, and what I've found to be quite important is to have 3 simple principles, right? So the first one is action. We obviously have to do stuff, right? We got to get shit done. So how do we do that? Well, we do it with action. Secondly, accountability. We have to say, I'm going to do this, and actually follow through with it, right? We have to be accountable to ourselves, to our business, to whomever, our partners, our clients, you name it. We also have to have a process, because if we don't know what to do, we're not going to be able to do anything. And if we don't have a process, we're not going to be able to be accountable to anything. So third factor is having a process that makes the work that you do a lot more efficient and a lot more effective. And once you have those 3 things in place, hey, you can do whatever you want, right? Imagine what you can do. So I want to take you back for a quick minute or two, how I spent $250,000 on a website, and I think it might have been a little bit more, but guess what? We'd just be talking large numbers anyways. So this was sort of the start of the internet age back in 2003, 2004, and what we were building was actually a phenomenal tool. It was like a designer tool where people could upload graphics and add text and add pictures and that sort of thing. And you know what? It's very, very common nowadays, but we were one of the first companies to be able to do that. And the way it was done back then was just hardcore programming and brute force and that sort of thing. And you know what? We had a absolutely brilliant interface, brilliant user interface, great systems, great operations back end. We were producing one-off products for like customized skins and that sort of thing. But the problem was that, hey, the programmers, the web developers, they built a great website, but that was it, right? They didn't know about search engine optimization. They didn't know about landing pages and sales funnels, and they didn't know about social media or advertising and analytics and that sort of thing. And so it's like, you mean to say I spent $250,000 on a website and I don't have a way to connect it to anything? And it's like, oh my God, like how can that be? And that really sort of like a flash in my face saying, this is one of the huge problems in the industry, and you actually still see this today, is that the industry has grown to be so segmented and so created as silos. You've got your search engine optimization guys, you've got your website guys, you've got your social media guys, you've got your landing page guys, you've got your content guys, and away you go, right? But the problem is that nobody really talks to each other. So what do? Well, you send it off to the SEO guy, or you send it to the content guy, or you send it to the landing page person, or girl, or guy, or girl, or whatever the case may be, right? The point is that problem still exists even today, right? The whole industry has continued to go further and further apart, and in my mind, that's the wrong way to do it, because it disallows you that opportunity to connect everything, to integrate everything into this fluid process that only you can understand and that only you can manage as your business, right? It doesn't mean you need to be an expert and you can't have people supporting you in those areas, right? What it does mean is that you can connect that properly, so that when you create a landing page, you know that it has to connect to your content, or it has to connect to a certain product, or your social media channels have to be more shareable, and you have to create this integration across your website, across your landing pages, you name it, right? Or you have to have advertising that runs to specific landing pages and everything else that works as well. So that's really, really important to be able to do that. So you need to be able to continue to grow that and to build that based on that, and that's kind of how the industry has to grow, and how you have to be able to develop that on an ongoing basis. So something to consider. So how did I discover it since then? What successful businesses we're doing? Well, that's not me either, as a picture on the toilet, but it was a matter of kind of getting out there in the last couple of years and talking with entrepreneurs, and talking with media agencies and ad agencies, and finding out it just wasn't working. And this is sort of the research that I did for my book, was being able to understand, what is it that was working for businesses and what wasn't working, and it really came down to sort of some key factors, and whether the businesses recognized this or not. Usually they didn't, because it seemed to be quite intuitive, but what they were doing was being able to build on certain things, and they understood that there was a structure, that there was a process. And I'm going to get into the businesses levels of success were the ones actors as part of their business process. And again, whether they recognize it or not is irrelevant. They were doing it based on a platform that they had created and that they had built for their business. So why do you need this blueprint or this strategy? Well, call it what you want: blueprint, process, framework, infrastructure, plan, map. Doesn't matter what you call it. What it means is that you have a process, right, that gives you some framework, that gives you some structure, that says, this is what I need to do, this is how I'm going to do it, this is when I'm going to do it as well. So very, very critical that you're actually able to embody a step-by-step guideline that says, okay, this is important, third and fourth. And that's tied again into the key factors that successful businesses online were seeing, and this is what they were doing on a day-to-day basis. So really, really important to be able to understand that. So what kind of sandwich? We're going to talk about food for a few minutes. What kind of sandwich does your audience love, right? What kind of sandwich will your customer buy? Do you know how to make it? Do you know what to put in it? Do you know what steps to take? Do you know how to replicate this process? Right? And this is the story of the sandwich, is putting these things together so that you can hand it on a plate. Hand your customer their sandwich on the plate and saying, here, this is what you ordered, right? And that's what you want to be able to achieve. But you need to know, what do they love? Will they buy it? How do you make it? And if you have to try it, try it, like trial it out and see what works and what doesn't, and change the recipe as you go. But at least you know that you're making a sandwich, right? And that's what's really, really important, is that you've got this thing that you're trying to deliver with your business. You've got these steps, you've got this end product, but you kind of have to make it fit with what the customer is asking for and how they're doing it. And that's then how you replicate the process, is if you've got a recipe, if you've got the ingredients, if you've got the process, and away you go, and you can build something. You can get your customer to buy it because that's what they want. Right? So what about the sandwich? What does the sandwich have? Well, it's got structure, it's got recipes, it's got ingredients, it has utensils and tools. and it's got everything that you need to make this sandwich delicious, right? So make it delicious for your customer. Give it, put in what it is that you want. And again, with these things, does it have a structure? Does it have a recipe? What ingredients are you using? And you know what? You're not going to get it right on the first try. But if you have, again, if you know that, hey, I've got to make a sandwich, that's what you need to continue to do, and that's your strategy. That's how you actually do it. So how do you do this? How do you sort of expand upon that? Well, it comes down to what I call the 7 simple steps, right? To free your mind, build your customer desire, and engage your audience passion online. And these were the 7 typical key factors that businesses that were working online and working well online were doing. And some of them were doing some of them, and some of them were doing all of them. But what it came down to is that the majority of them had a system in place, a system that really, really helped them understand what it was that was going on, understood what the process was, and that sort of thing. And these were the 7 things that they actually, I found that they were using. The first one was they created an overriding strategy, right? The second one was they developed a clear content plan and a roadmap. And just a side note is that you might look at these and go, oh yeah, well, anybody can come up with those, or anybody can think about those, which is perfectly fine. The challenge though is that they need to be systemized, right? Everybody knows that you need a strategy, and everybody knows that you need content, and everybody knows that you need a website and social media and blah blah blah, right? So that's nothing new. What I'm suggesting is that if you follow a process, if you follow a step-by-step guideline in terms of, well, how does everything fit together? How do you build that process? That's where the success will come from, right? So yes, you have to include everything that's part of your digital ecosystem, and these are those things. Sorry, so I digressed. So number 3 was the businesses were able to utilize social media, use them as tools though, not as strategies, right? As well as sharing. Number 4, create stunning cohesive branding through videos and visuals. Aligning website to create congruency with all your channels and your assets, right? Whether that's a landing page, whether that's your home page, whether that's your blog page, it has to look the same. It has to have the same look and feel and taste as well across everything. Successful businesses also were implementing a sales funnel, right? They weren't just a brochure, an online brochure with a contact us page, because if nobody fills out that contact us page, well, what do? Well, guess what? You don't have a business. So you have to build in a buying process, a sales funnel that accounts for all the different stages of your customers, stages that they would go towards purchasing your product, right? Everybody that hits your website is not going to be ready to buy. It's a plain and simple fact, but you can lead them to that purchase down the road when they're ready to buy, if you've done the proper things along the way. And the last one was implement advertising, right, to grow your audience beyond the word of mouth. Word of mouth is obviously very, very powerful forms of marketing, but what do you do when that no longer exists? Or if you want to sort of grow your business bigger, right, you need to advertise. It's as simple as that. And that's how you'll maximize your sales funnels, being able to tap into different audience groups, in your audience groups rather, in different geographical locations or different industries, or whatever the case may be. What you're actually able to build, that you're able to understand that. So what about the blueprint and strategy? Well, this is what you have to ask yourself. Who are you? What are you about, and what do you want to be known for? And these are super key activities, because that's really what defines how you're actually going to be able to develop your business online, and how you're going to be able to pursue that growth of the business, right? You have to be able to define that for yourself, because if you can't define it for yourself, how would you expect your audience, who's again completely overwhelmed by all this information and posts and everything else, how are you going to be able to define that? So you have to sit down and do that process and understand where it is that you are, and what do you want to be known for, and what value are you providing. On that note, what I actually produced is what I call a digital discovery self-assessment. And if you look on your screen, you should be able to see, you can go just click the download now button, and it'll take you to the form, to the homepage, which will then have a quick pop-up to basically download this digital discovery self-assessment. And what it does is basically takes a look at those 7 steps. And again, I'm going to go into a little bit more detail, but how that relates to your specific business. Okay, and that's key, is how does it relate to your business? Like, because I can talk forever, but it's not about your business, right? What is it that you're going to be able to define about your business? So take a quick look, download the digital discovery self-assessment. And that will kind of help you get started along the way. And I'll leave that link up for a few more minutes for those who are interested. So what you should do now, well, what you really need to do is create your blueprint. And, well, how do you do that? Well, follow the 7 simple steps to tie online together. And again, I'm going to show those again fairly quickly. But that's what you need to be able to do to understand and to create that clarity online in terms of what it is that you need to be doing and when you need to be doing it as well. Right? Deliver a sandwich that your customers will love. Okay? That's key, is that if you're not doing that, well, guess what? You might not be in business, or you might not want to be in business for that matter. So keep that going. So what does your digital blueprint entail? Well, it comes down to, like I said, 7 simple steps. The first one is having a clear strategy. The second one is having an understanding of your content plan. So who are you? What are you going to talk about? Who you're going to talk to? Who is your audience? Those sorts of things. Social and sharing. What social channels are you going to be using? How are you going to share the content? How are you going to share your information? Right? How are you going to share your expertise in terms of building your audience, building your client base? How are you going to do that? Number 4, video and visuals. So from a branding side, what are you producing that has video? What are you producing that's very, very visual? Because as we know, the internet is predominantly visuals and videos. And unless you're producing those, guess what? You're missing out on a tremendous amount of opportunities. Number 5 is website alignment. How does your website fit with everything that you're producing online? How does it fit with your strategy? How does it fit with your content? How does it fit with your social and sharing, your video and visuals? And as we'll get into your lead generation and sales funnel, as well as advertising, which is the last step. And that's one of the biggest things I found, is that a lot of businesses who weren't able to sort of put things together or felt that they were spending a lot of money on advertising that never worked. It came down to the fact that they didn't have that infrastructure in place to be able to actually advertise effectively. So what would they do in an ad? They would send them to the home page, or they would send them to their Facebook page, or whatever the case may be, right? But now that you have the infrastructure in place, you can actually send that person anywhere. And that's really the power of this whole system, the power of this process, is that once you've got that infrastructure in place, I can send them to a specific blog post. I can send them to a specific social channel. I can send them to a video, a branded picture as well that you can share. I can send them to certain pages, certain landing pages. I can add them to my sales funnel to download a gift, or to download a certain free product, or whatever the case may be. So you can send them anywhere, right? And that's the key, is that now you've got that choice, that you can send them anywhere you want. And the last stage is like I mentioned, analytics. You have to be able to analyze what is going on with the website, what is going on with your digital ecosystem. Are people coming from Facebook? Well, then you might want to be on Facebook. If 99% of your people are coming from LinkedIn, well, guess what? LinkedIn is probably more of a powerful tool for you. So you can actually use that to your advantage. All right, so what I'd like you to do now is just a quick little fun digital self-assessment, and what I've got is 7 questions, and just again with your pen and paper, or if you don't use paper anymore, I'm not sure what you can use, maybe your iPad. But anyway, the point is that take a look at these 7 quick questions and score yourself 0 points for do not do, 1 point for unsure it is working, 2 points for think I've got it, and 3 points for being totally and supremely awesome. So question number 1, I have a detailed strategy that covers all business possibilities. So give yourself a score of 0, 1, 2, or 3 points. I know what I'm going to talk about online and when I'm going to say it. So give yourself a score there. I always have an engaged audience online. Number 4, I am always relevant with my audience. Number 5, my customers are always loyal to my business and my offers. Number 6, I have a consistent and continual source of quality leads and sales from my audience. And number 7, my audience and prospects can easily find me online and before my competitors. All right, so again, score yourself 0, 1, 2, 3, or 3 points. Now, just quickly add up your total, get a subtotal, and you should have a number between 0 and 21. Hopefully nobody got 0. And maybe a couple of you got 21. And if you're in sort of in the range of 14 to 21, well, guess what? You probably got a lot of things in place, which is really key. But you can always tweak this, right? Keep in mind that the internet is, and web technologies is always changing, not necessarily technologies, but the whole sort of customer experience. So there's always room for improvement, which is actually an excellent aspect of this whole industry. If you're like from 0 to 7, well, then there's probably a lot that you can do, and don't be scared in terms of what you should or shouldn't be doing. Just understand that there is probably some things that you can fix, and you should fix as quickly as possible. Put those things in place to be able to do that. Otherwise, your business will continue to suffer. So, what if you could build your customer desire? What if you could engage your audience passion? And what if you could free your mind? Where would that put you with your business? What would you be able to do differently? And this is my belief that if you have this process, if you have a better understanding of what your business is doing and where it's going and what it's doing, you'll be much better off. You'll be much better be able to manage that, right? So what do you need what do you need now? Well, you need to understand your process. You need to be able to see what it is that your business is doing. And again, it's specific to your business, but the overlying framework is, like I mentioned, the step-by-step aspects of it. Do you have a strategy? Do you have a content plan? What are you doing for social and sharing as well? Not just social, but sharing. How are you going to deliver what I call your online sandwich value, your OSV, because I had to create another buzzword, to your customer. So making sure that you do that you're able to deliver what it is that your customer is asking for, what it is that they want from you, right? So that's what you need now, is to be able to build that process. And look, a lot of times it's just filling in those quick little pieces that say, okay, well, yeah, I need to sort of refocus on this, or I need to kind of adjust to that. And that's what's the key. That's the actual fantastic part of that, is that you're able to do this. You're able to understand what it is that you're building with your business and how you're doing it and when you're doing it. And that's what this process is about, is being able to do that. And that's what I hope you can get from this, is being able to get that process under your belt to say, okay, this is what I need to do. So, and this is how I'm going to do it. So what are the 3 biggest things that you want to accomplish with your business, right? Remember, I asked you that at the beginning. So, are you ready for that? What's stopping you? What's preventing you from being able to do that? What's preventing you from being able to go forward and get yourself organized and get your business online to where it wants, so that people recognize it and people know what you're talking about and where you're going with it and everything else that's working. So take a look at that. Right? And ask yourself, who's hungry? Are you, hungry enough to hustle to the next stage? Are you hungry enough to put a process in place? Are you hungry enough to get that business to where you want, get that sort of online recognition, that online awareness, right? That engagement, that the sales, the leads, right? Is that what you want? Well, that's kind of where we can help, where I can help you specifically. And what I've done is I put together a quick monthly program and look, this isn't for everybody. This is for the businesses that want to take a serious look at implementing a process, that helps them with their business on a month-to-month basis, right? So I will take you through personally a lot of the different aspects of the seven simple steps that we go through, coach you through this, whether you decide to do it on your own, do it for yourself, or I can do it for you as well and help you with additional coaching and that sort of thing. So if you go to thedigitalrevolution.com/sandwich seminar, and I'm going to put up a link right away for you. So take a look, and that's really what we want to be able to do, is what do you want to achieve online? In this program, these programs are designed specifically for you to say, okay, this is what I need to do now. This is how I'm going to do it. I'm going to walk you through the specifics of building this process, building this infrastructure, so that you've got the tools to be able to succeed and to be able to grow your business. Because remember, these are the key factors that the businesses that were doing well had in their pockets, right? They knew how to do it. It was very intuitive. They understood what it was that they needed to do and how they needed to do it as well. So what else? Well, I got a guarantee. I do have a 100% product satisfaction guarantee, and if you're not happy, hey, I'll refund your money for the product, as well as I've got the industry first, what I call 10 times ROI, right? So 10 times return on your investment. If you do not make 10 times your return on your investment for this program, I will refund your money. Simple as that. No questions asked. Okay? Plain and simple. What am I going to do? Well, I've got a couple of bonuses. I've got a free online training course as well, which is 20 plus hours of video content, checklists, spreadsheets, a whole kit and caboodle of stuff that will help you grow that business as well and grow it to the level that you want. And I'll also send you a free copy of my book, which is being published as we speak, and it will be in my hands. That's not my hand there. It'll be in my hand in a couple of days. So I really encourage you to go to thedigitaldelusion.com/sandwich seminar, and the button should be on your browser as well in the Hangout area. Get Started is the button that you want to click to take a look and make your decision in terms of which package is best for you. So what do you do next? Well, first things first, pull your finger out. Okay, get something done. Remember what I told you about the 3 things that we needed to take a look at? Well, action, get shit done, accountability, making sure that you do it, and then process, right? I can't help you with accountability. I can't help you with action. I can coach you and say you got to do this, right? But at the end of the day, you have to do it. But what I can help you with is process, right? Process. This is what's going to build your blueprint. This is what's going to build your infrastructure. This is what's going to give you what you need for your business online, without question, right? So now subscribe to the program that works best for you. So again, click on the Get Started button, and away you go. And guess what? You can live the dream too. Enjoy life. Have fun with your life and your business, and away you go. So that's all I have for this evening. I really appreciate your time. Really appreciate your patience as well in terms of getting started. We had a little bit of a delay at the beginning, but everything ran smoothly after that. So if you need to contact me, my email is doyle@thedigitaldelusion.com. As well, you can see my mobile number as well as the general number there. So once again, thank you very much. Have a fantastic evening and rest of the week, and we will see you online. Take care.